remember this time, like we've all been there, when you're waiting in line for a Tower of Terror as a kid. You are terrified because it's a Tower of Terror, but you're also like, this is all pretend. None of this is real, right? But then you hear the mom next to you tell her son about how Rod Serling, the Twilight Zone host, had passed away before they even started making the Tower of Terror, so they had to bring him back to life with the power of the Twilight Zone and Disney magic to film the Tower of Terror pre-show, and then you are actually terrified. Y'all remember that? That happened to you too? Okay, regardless, let me tell you what really happened, how Disney made the whole Rod Serling thing work in the Tower of Terror. There were two big problems they needed to solve. First of all, they needed his voice, or at least a voice that sounded a lot like him. So they auditioned several Rod Serling impersonators, found the very talented Mark Silverman, but the person who had the ultimate final approval was actually Rod Serling's wife. Second of all, they needed actual footage of Rod Serling. They did take a tiny little snippet from an episode of The Twilight Zone called It's a Good Life. They take this tiny little part where Rod Serling says, and you'll probably recognize it if you've seen the pre-show of Tower of Terror, tonight's story in The Twilight Zone is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is and you're probably used to hearing maintenance service elevator still in operation, blah, 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 blah. But in It's a Good Life, he says, this, as you may recognize, is a map of the United States. They had Mark Silverman voice over all of that, the rest of the pre-show, and on the ride.